So, unfortunately, I was right. The founder of 4chan, Christopher Moot Poole, met with Jeffrey Epstein the day that 4chan released Paul, which was their political segment, the segment that eventually led to QAnon, which is exactly what I have been saying. They were the ones controlling QAnon, and they used it to discredit the truth, which is that they were doing those things.
So I've tagged this mutual leftist creator, and if you're not following her, I urge you to please follow her, and I want you to watch her entire video. I am feeling actually very nauseated today. Something I've shared in my past was that for about 6 months, when QAnon first showed up on all my Facebook feeds, I got pulled down those rabbit holes. And it was all around the Democrats being involved with these sex trafficking rings with children. And the details were soul crushing. And I could see where my fellow Bernie bros, where Republicans, where independent voters were all going down those rabbit holes with me, and immediately, and rightly so, creating or generating such a sense of disgust at the Democratic Party. I mean, why wouldn't you? You felt like it was all true. And now that we're finding out that this was all a PSYOP operation by those involved with this sex trafficking ring, with this world of Epstein, and that they're in the White House now, they're in the inner circles, they're the power structures, and yes, there's Democrats in there too, but the ones who concocted this, your Steve Bannons and so forth, are the nasty, dirtiest, vile human beings who helped Donald Trump and MAGA be birthed so that these psychopaths could run the fucking world. 6 months. That's all it took for me to realize this does not make sense to me. This whole Pizzagate, the Clintons being like the driving force behind this, and that Donald Trump is actually the hero in all this. And I started doing my own research on these QAnon fantastical stories, and it didn't take long to debunk them. And when I started to question it, I got attacked by independent voters, by Republican voters, by former Bernie bros, who all were getting pulled down at the same time I was getting pulled down. And that's when I also first realized, wow, this has just been made into a cult. And here we are over 8 years later, and the world is being negatively impacted by this PSYOP operation. And there are people still in this cult who don't understand and don't want to understand any of it, because part of being a PSYOP operation is the way it makes people feel. And people like the way this is making them feel. And feelings over facts, that's what MAGA is. Anyway, go watch your full video. Spot on.
So, unfortunately, I was right. The founder of 4chan, Christopher Moot Poole, met with Jeffrey Epstein the day that 4chan released Paul, which was their political segment, the segment that eventually led to QAnon, which is exactly what I have been saying. They were the ones controlling QAnon, and they used it to discredit the truth, which is that they were doing those things. This entire time, there has been a child trafficking ring that is extensive and goes across multiple continents, all through our power systems. And not only that, they were controlling the entire right-wing cultural narrative. They are literally responsible for incels. And again, they knew that liberals were not going to believe anything coming out of the mouths of the people that were talking about QAnon, very specifically because they were saying things like, these people are all blood-drinking lizards. And sadly, the reality isn't far from that. They may not be actual lizards, but they definitely don't have any empathy. Our entire country just got played for decades and potentially destroyed. I don't know how we come back from this, again, unless there are very extreme consequences. Honestly, I don't think I'm just talking about jail time.